Hey everybody, and welcome to a quite grey and gloomy Ashton Underline. I just wanted to make this quick little video to apologise for the delay in this Italy vlog. Once I kind of made my way back to the UK, things got really busy, and I had about a month before my job started, and I just had to crack on with making sure my equipment was up to code, making changes on my work van and just getting ready. And I basically used the entire month flat out. Then went down to London to shoot the film, which went really well. That was 3 weeks. And then coming back up north, I've just had work on and off basically. So it's meant getting around to editing this video has been quite tough, to be honest with you, but it's going out soon. That's why I'm making this. I'm very sorry, but I hope you enjoy the vlog. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another vlog. You guys are really enjoying these if you're still knocking about. Well, welcome to Varese, Italy. I made the trip today from Switzerland. Oh God. At the end of the last video, I said to you guys, I'll keep you updated with what I was doing. And what I usually do is I have a park up in Switzerland by a big lake, and it's picturesque, it's beautiful. You've got the Swiss mountains in the background. It's gorgeous. And I was going to film that and a few bits, but when I rocked up, you can't park there anymore. Well, I travelled seven and a half hours to come to a cowboy shop to buy myself a hat and some boots, and when I rocked up it was closed. They're on holiday until Monday, and it's currently Thursday, so they're not open for another 3 days unfortunately. So feeling a bit defeated, but at the end of the day I did have a look at some belts in the window, and for one belt it was 170 euros. So I'm guessing for a cowboy hat, probably was looking at 300 to 400 euros. So it's probably saved me a hefty bill if I'm honest with you. So it's not all doom and gloom, but I thought I'd have a little mooch around, see the sights before I head off with my tail between my legs. When I was first walking into town, I was passing through a market area, and I was going to get the camera out and film it. But there was some shady looking characters knocking around, and the market was kind of done, and there was just people sat around smoking, and I was just a bit like, maybe I wait to get into the town centre to see what the town's like before I start breaking out the camera. But walking around here now, it seems fairly safe and nice. Now this is what I love about travelling right here, is just looking around, taking a corner, and then suddenly there's beautiful Italian streets. I'm going to get run over by a car, let's not do that. They're absolutely gorgeous. Let's carry on having a wander, see if we can go inside. Okay, for you history buffs, this is the Bernascone Bell Tower. And a little bit of history. Having returned to Varese after the defeat suffered on the 26th of May 1859, the Austrians under orders carried out a cruel bombing on Varese on the 31st of May. You can still see the damage on the bell tower. I love the Italians, I really do. There was just an old guy then walking down the middle of the strip, just eating gelato, staring daggers at absolutely everybody. He's shuffling his feet, looking miserable, whilst eating one of the happiest ice creams in the world. It's hilarious. So having walked around Varese for about 15-20 minutes now, I gotta say it's a really, really nice town. I mean, there wasn't an awful lot worth shooting. It would just be a lot of filler. I really liked the bell tower and the cathedral. That was really nice. But aside from that, it's just a really pretty little town, to be honest with you. I did stop off in a tobacco shop though, because I didn't buy the cowboy hat that was going to be about €500. I thought, well, might as well treat myself, Hannah. So I've now bought a cigar in every country that I've visited. So the parking here is fantastic. It's about a 10-minute walk from the city centre. I paid €2 for 24 hours. So I could sleep there tonight if I really wanted to. I mean, I'm not going to, but I could do. Tell you what I find funny whenever I do this type of trip is the different styles that countries drive in. So when you're in France, you're fine. It's very much like the UK. They drive a little close to you, you get out the way. You know, there's no biggies. You get to Switzerland, and they're the most cautious drivers in the world. Like, if they even sense that somebody might be walking towards a crosswalk, they slam on. And if they, you know, it's like a double lane crosswalk. If they start crossing on the opposite lane, your lane will stop immediately. It's like they are just like the most courteous drivers in the world. Sometimes a bit too courteous, and for the odd time where I've had close calls. Then you get to Italy, and let me tell you, there are no rules on these roads at all. Like, it is a free-for-all. And if you're on foot, the roads are for driving, not for walking. Like, if you want to get on a crosswalk, you better run, because them cars ain't stopping. I just find it really funny how it's just country to country to country. And earlier on, as I was driving down the road, a car on the opposite lane starts flashing everybody. And I was like, that's weird. My lights on, all this and that. And then I realised from previous experience, drivers in Italy let you know if there are police up ahead, because obviously they've already driven past them. So they flash everybody to let you know, slow down, there's a police officer up ahead. And carry on up the road, there's a police officer on the side just waiting for somebody to be speeding. And I love that. I've not had that in any other country except here in Italy, where it's just kind of, they look out for you and just give you a little heads up, which is funny because it's like some of the worst driving I've ever seen in my life. Hello again, everybody. So it has been a couple of days since that last clip, and the reason for that is because I got to the park up and I was very tired. I'd had very little sleep the night before because I was in Switzerland in a storm, and I'd done a lot of driving. So I got here, so I had like an hour, 2 hours, and I went straight to bed. And then I've spent all today here. I got up early, I was up at 8 o'clock, been sunbathing till 2, 3 o'clock, had a bit of lunch, just made my tea. The heat's died down, the sun's starting to set. And I just wanted to share this view with you all. Welcome to Lake Como. Now, this isn't the first time I've come to Lake Como. This is actually my third time, and it's really nice because each time I come, something new's happened in my life. And last time I came here, I was trying to recreate a form of happiness that I had in the past, which I didn't have at that point. And I kind of came down here on the wrong thoughts, the wrong reasons, and it was called out to me, you know. A very dear friend of mine You know, it was like, are you going there for certain reasons? And deep down I was like, yeah, I am. And the weather was terrible on the entire trip as well. I drove all the way here, which is like, you know, 1,000 miles, if not more, I'm not sure off the top of my head, a lot of mileage, and then back in terrible weather, and went back feeling worse. And then this time I've come, I'm a few stone lighter, I'm happier, I've made moves in my career that I'm very proud of and I'm happy with, and I don't know, the weather's been terrible on this trip. Well, not really. I mean, France was okay for a day, and then it got really bad, and Switzerland was really bad. And then when we were in that town in Italy, Versailles? I can't remember. It's been a couple of days. It was very grey. This is the first day I've had of pure sunshine. I'm a bit sunburned and really nice warm weather. I usually get really bored being in the park up, but I could honestly park here for another 3 weeks. Like, I even might. But I really enjoy coming here. It's my peaceful place. It's a place where I get a lot of thinking done, where, you know, I'm planning for the future. I can't remember where I saw it, but it was some advice. It was probably on a TikTok video, but it was good advice. Was short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals, and how you should set certain goals or certain terms. You know, there's no point saying I'm going to make £1 million in a week. It's not going to happen. But give yourself 10 years and stick to it. You never know. But you know what I mean. So I like short-term goals being sort of like 6 months, medium-term goals being like 1.5 years, and my long-term is 3 years. And I've sat here today and thought about stuff, and I've set myself new goals because I've already achieved some goals already. So not to toot my own horn, but this time last year I was in just short of a 6XL t-shirt, and I give myself 3 years to get into a 2XL t-shirt. 3 years. And I achieved that inside of 1 year. So the goalpost moved on that. I was like, okay, now I want to get into an XL and work my way into a large. But then I was like, well, you know, that's a goal that's pretty much almost done, and I'm working towards it. It's now part of my life, and it's not like I got to go out my way to go to the gym. I'm now enjoying going to the gym and all that. So I sat here and thought about new goals and what I want to set for myself. And I'm looking at them all going, they're very achievable. They're very achievable. I tell you what I absolutely love about this kind of Italian culture is it's currently 6:15 on a Saturday, and there's a table just down there to the right, and there's 10 people there, and I've just been watching them for a little bit. They got out the deck of cards, they got out the Coca-Cola, they pulled out what looks to be gabagool, a big old tray of different meats and stuff, and then they just cracked open a few cold ones and passed them around the table, and then just popped a bottle of wine, and you know, they're all cheersing and passing drinks around and playing cards, and there's 10 of them, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. But yeah, I don't even know 10 people. That's the crazy thing. I don't know 10 people. I don't think there's a place in the UK that kind of, I don't know, has this same effect, I guess, as playing cards in Lake Como. Good morning. Well, good afternoon, almost, from a very warm Lake Como. Now I've had to stick a shirt on because I spent all of yesterday sunbathing, and I'm pretty burnt today. I'm feeling it. Yeah, every word's just very tender. So I thought it's best to put on another layer to cover up a little bit. Show you down there quickly before the door closes. I had a very, very late night last night. I went and sat down on the bench area, just looking at Como. Ciao. Yep. I had my earbuds in, and I was having a celebratory cigar, celebrating how far I've come in the last 6 months. And I had a really, really nice time last night. Just on my own, listening to music. I busted out the most expensive cigar that I bought on this entire trip, which was the one I bought in Bern, which you would have seen in the last video, and it was worth every single penny. It was beautiful. And I was just stood looking at the lake, and somebody approached me. I took my earbud out, and it's this youngish lad, and he's like, "Oh, do you have the time?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock." It's like, "Oh, thank you, brother. I smashed my phone at work today, the screen doesn't work." I was like, "Yeah, no problems, brother." And he starts to walk off, and he kind of turns back and looks at me, and I got the feeling it's like, oh, he wants to have a conversation. And I was like, "I'll have a conversation." So we got chatting, and he ends up grabbing his Corona and coming over, and we sit at the table for a bit. And he's smoking a couple of cigarettes, I'm having my cigar, and before I know it, it's been like 2-3 hours of us just talking. And he's from, lad's called Nico, so shout out to Nico. Hopefully you do see this video, brother. He's from a small town in the south of Italy, and he's come up to Como to work. He works in a restaurant at the moment, and I was asking him about life in Italy and what it's like. It's a tough life. It is a tough life. He said that when he's at home, there's a lot of crime. The town's run by the mafia, and he said that there was children as young as like 12, 13 that were a part of it, and he wanted to get out of there because he'd just seen so many bad things happening. And I really felt for him. I really did. 18 years old, just dropped out of school, wanted to work because school wasn't for him, from a really poor town where it's run by the mafia, and he didn't know what he wanted to do. And we got talking, and you know, he said to me, he was like, back at home he'd make 500 euros a month from serving tables, and then he's come up here and he makes 2,000 euros a month. So he's just spent his entire first paycheck on something for him. Oh, look at that, that's pretty. He wanted some new jeans and a nice pair of shoes, and he just said to me, he's like, "Brother, I've never had anything nice. I've always got my brother's hand-me-downs. I wanted to get something for myself." And I was like, we all do it. I remember when I got my first paycheck, I went nuts. Got a load of stuff for myself. Everybody does it. Ciao. Everybody does it. And he felt a bit bad. And I was like, don't, you got to enjoy it. And now he's going to save his money. He was essentially telling me that in Italy, when you're born here and you're born poor, you tend to stay poor. And he's got to essentially travel around because there's no work in his hometown. It's just mafia, crime pays. And I said, well, do the police not stop that? And he said, the police are paid off because they make more money from the mafia than they do from their own jobs. As we got talking, I said to him, well, because you're part of Europe and the European Union, you can travel to any country you want to get work. You don't have to stick to Italy. And he just looked at me and he went, bro, travel's expensive. He's like, it's not something you can do here. So he starts asking me about the UK and opportunities and stuff, and he said, you see, the UK is full of opportunities for work and to better yourself and education. He's like, here there's nothing. He said, you know, his dad is a construction worker. He has been for 30 years. And he says he makes €1,000 a month. And that's what he's made for 30 years. Never goes up, never goes down. Because in Italy, to make real money, I didn't quite understand, but the translation I kind of got was, you need to be given a contract for work. And most people don't have contracts, because it costs the employers too much money. And then they got to sign you to real money. So a lot of people are just kind of put on jobs, and that's that. It's brutal, it really is. And my heart really went out to Nico, because he's 18 years old. He was thinking like an adult, and I asked him why, and he said, when you grow up with seeing what I've seen, violence, crime, murder, he said, you got to start thinking like an adult, it changes you. 18 years old. I didn't have my camera with me because I wasn't filming, but I just enjoyed having a conversation, and I think he needed that as well, because he said he'd had a really bad day and it wasn't going his way. And I bought him it's like vodka Red Bull, and first thing he said was, brother, I don't have the money to pay for it. I was like, no, I've got it, I'll pay for it, don't worry. Hey, hello. He's like, I'll pay for it, don't worry, and he was like, I don't have money to get. I was like, I don't want it. And he thanked me so many times, which was just lovely in itself. He was thankful for it. And by the end of the night, he was like, I'm really glad. He said, I've had a bad day, but I've had a great evening. And I was like, brother, that means so much to me, because I'm struggling to talk to people at the moment. And he was like, oh, same here. He was like, I've only just moved here, and so I've got one friend. He said, well, now I've got two. And I was like, oh, god damn, bro. So at the end of the night, I went to give him a hug, and he was like, no. I was like, okay. He's like, men don't hug in Italy. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, if you're posh boy, you dap, fist bump. He's like, I'm not a posh boy. I was like, right, okay. He's like, so let me show you what we do. And I was like, okay. Let's try and cross over without getting killed. He says, we dap up, we come in, we don't actually kiss, but we go mwah, mwah on the cheek. I was like, oh my god, I've seen this in films, I've never done it before. And he's like, and then a cherry on top. So with your free arm, you slap the person's shoulder. And I was like, oh my god. And that's how we ended the night. And I was like, oh. And the coolest thing he said to me as we were walking off, he's like, I don't really know the translation for what I want to say, but friends down in South, he said, they're like gangsters to me. And he said, I don't know anybody up here, so now you're a gangster to me. And I was like, an Italian just called me a gangster. Oh my god. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And it really put into perspective though how lucky I am and how lucky we are in the UK, because we live there all the time. It's very easy to lose sight on how good we've kind of got it. And I know the country's got problems, every country's got problems, you know, all the government aside and stuff. We are very, very lucky, because coming to these places that look beautiful, you know, but yet you listen to somebody who can only make €500 a month and has to move away from home because they don't want to have to join the mafia. It really put it into perspective for me how lucky we are. Well, I think the plans are going to change again a little bit, if I'm honest with you, because the weather's only getting hotter here. and the weather's only getting worse back at home. And I am very much ahead of schedule here. So I want to be back home on like the 15th or the 16th of June. And it's still a little bit away, that. So I think I might spend another week here in this exact park up, because it's only costing me a couple of euros a day to park here. I've got the lake, I've got facilities, there's showers, there's a shop down the road, I've got internet, I can run my van during the evening so I can charge my batteries. I don't know, I think I might just have another week here and just relax. I've got a video ready to come out this weekend. I think I've shot enough stuff in and around Italy to do another video. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it here, waking up here. Even though there's not a massive amount of things to do, I don't really want a massive amount of things to do. I'm just happy kind of just relaxing and just taking it easy with the beautiful views. I'm really looking forward to the thunderstorm. I hope that really happens. I hope it's a good lightning storm. Not much rain, but the, you know, the sky lights up. That'd be beautiful here. So I think I'm going to put the camera down. I think I'm going to go and get some food, because I've not eaten out yet here in Italy, and just watch the sunset. Hey everybody, I'm having to film this on my phone. I don't have my actual like shooting camera with me, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys where I'm at with what's going on. So behind me here is just like a big green area that people come and sunbathe in, and I'm just sat on the wall just watching this lightning storm that's happening over Lake Como at the moment. And I'm sure I'm going to get some really decent footage. Well, I know I've already got some good footage. I'm hoping, there it is. I'm hoping to get some more. It's just started raining a little bit, nothing too crazy, but yeah, just enough. And I'm just sat here, and I'm just so thankful. I know this is grainy footage. It's shot on my front camera. Apologies, but I'm just so thankful because I'm literally parked just up there with a view of Lake Como here, watching a lightning storm, listening to Sweet Child of Mine. And this is what van life has given me. This is what van life has done for me, is I'm able to sit here and watch a lightning storm whilst listening to Sweet Child of Mine in Lake Como. It is crazy to me. I'm having such a good time. I really am. It's me again, everybody's favourite vlogger. When I've been editing this video, I have found that it is missing footage. I don't really know why, but the important bits are missing, and I've kind of got to explain what's going on because I need to fill in the gaps. Whilst I was staying at Lake Como, just up the road was a bank, and what that meant was there was always like 6 to 8 police officers every single day knocking about on that road. One day I'm sat in the van, it is boiling hot, I've got the engine running because I've got the air conditioning on, and I think I'm just watching like an episode of Suits. I'm in the dark and I'm just chilling, got my headphones in, and suddenly the van just becomes really light, and I was like, what's going on here? And I turn and I look, and the police officer just opened my side door, and I just kind of like popped my earphones. I was like, hello, and he goes, hello, and then we just stared at each other for like 10 seconds, and I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, are you? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And he says, oh, you do realise that this is paid parking, don't you? I said, yeah, I do. And he goes, well, why haven't you paid? I was like, oh no, I have, and I picked my phone up, and he didn't even bother looking. He just went, oh, you paid on your phone? I said, yeah. Just closes the door. And I was like, okay. So it didn't really bother me, if I'm honest with you. For me, that's just like the Italians being Italian, you know, it's just straight to the point. And then I get a knock on the door about 3 days later, and I come out and there's 2 police officers, and they were like, hello, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you? He's like, yeah, good. What are you doing here? I said, oh, I'm just here for a holiday, you know, so having like a week or so, just relaxing, having a bit of a, you know, a break and stuff. He's like, so you leave here? I was like, no, I don't. I said, no, I parked here. I just pay for parking every day. It's close to, you know, everything I need. I'm living in the van. And he goes, oh, can I have a look? Now, I know that some van lifers always say if the police ask to have a look, they don't have the right to say, no, it's your own personal space. For me, that just causes problems. So, and I like my van. I like the way it looks. I was like, yeah, come and have a look. So they had a look and they complimented it. They were like, it's a nice van. And I said, you know, is there any problems with me staying here? He said, no, not at all. So he said, but the thing from our perspective is when we arrive at work in the morning, you're here with your engine running. When we leave at night, you're here with your engine running. And I said, oh, I see. I said, I'm only running the engine because it's so hot. I'm just having the air conditioning on. If you want, I can just, you know, I can turn the engine off and only turn it on when I need to charge the batteries. He's like, no, that's no problems. He said, we were just knocking to make sure you were okay, which I really appreciated, and it was really nice of him. But then, in the footage that I got, I made the decision that I think it was best that I actually moved on because I felt like I was kind of overstaying my welcome somewhat. So I want to go back there. It's kind of my safe space to go to. I really enjoy going to Italy, and it's a nice spot, really close to Como. I just thought I won't annoy them. I won't antagonize them. They've knocked twice now, type of thing. I will leave it at that. So I took off. I made a decision. Okay, I'm feeling good, feeling rested. I'm gonna leave now. So I did, and I went to Switzerland. On the way back, and I started getting texts about work, and I was like, okay, this has worked out pretty well actually. That's the update. That's the footage that's missing. I'm very sorry that it's not as nice and I don't have the backdrop of Lake Como like I did in the original video. This is the best I can do. I'm sorry. So enjoy the rest of this vlog, everybody, and I'll see you. Tomorrow is the final day of nice weather for about a week. After that, it's thunderstorms and rain. So we're actually leaving on the right day. Now, there's been something on my bucket list since before I even started traveling. Okay, I saw a YouTube video on the Great Saint Bernard Pass in Switzerland years ago. And I think that was what made me really want to get into road tripping, because it was absolutely beautiful on YouTube. And I had it on my telly, and I was watching it going, wow, that is incredible. Now, I've been to Switzerland 4 or 5 times now, and never once have I been able to actually do the Great Saint Bernard Pass, because I've always come out of season and that road's closed throughout the winter period. Now, the route I'm taking goes by the Great Saint Bernard Pass, and I've just gone online to see when does it reopen, and it reopens on the 28th of May. Well, today is the 28th of May. So we're going to go and drive the Great Saint Bernard Pass, and I'm going to tick off another bucket list item, and I can't wait. Well, this is a change of scenery, isn't it? I'm currently in the middle of Germany, making my way towards Luxembourg, into Belgium, into France, and back to the UK. I had an idea for this series of videos, and although it was only a short series of videos, I really wanted a cowboy hat, okay? And I thought what would be fun is if I, throughout these videos, make things happen where I don't get a cowboy hat. And I try and play it off at the end. And originally what I was going to do was do a couple of trips to some places and not get a cowboy hat. So I did the Switzerland one, the one you saw earlier on where I went to the shop. That was actually closed. I didn't set that up. I was actually really gutted. And then I did a third one, but you won't see it. I went to the market in Como Centre and I vlogged a little bit. And I was like, oh, I wonder if we're going to have any cowboy hats, any of this, any of that. They didn't have anything. It was just a load of tools and second-hand clothes. And it kind of, there wasn't enough in it to worthy of putting in this video, okay? So my original plan was going to be, I don't get the cowboy hat, yada, yada, yada. And at the end of this video, I was just going to talk to the camera and pick up a hat and put it on my head. Okay, I was going to be all cool and sophisticated and country boy. Okay, but that's not what I'm doing, because things have changed. I went to a place today in Switzerland called Western Art Outfitters. Okay, I didn't pick up the camera because I didn't have time. I parked in a car park opposite an Ironman tournament. And the car park was busy, so I literally rocked up and ran away. I didn't even pay for parking, okay? Because I knew I was only going to be 15-20 minutes. I just wanted to go into this shop, get a cowboy hat, and then do my big reveal at the end of the video, okay? I get to the shop, and I'm greeted by a lovely man called Kurt. And the first thing he says is, what are you looking for? What can I help you with? And I said to him, I was like, I went to Nashville last year, and I didn't get a cowboy hat. And it's the one regret I've had this entire time. So he starts talking me through some cowboy hats, okay? And to keep a long story short, this guy's been doing this for 37 years, okay? I was like a kid in a candy shop. I really was. I was looking at all these different hats and he'd give me a few to try on, and he gave me this really nice hat made of beaver. And it was 500 francs. That's £500 for this hat. I was like, I can't do it, Kurt. I can't pay that much money. So he gives me a few other options, and he finally finds this one. Okay, and this is a Bailey hat. And this hat's made in Pennsylvania, in the oldest warehouse that still makes cowboy hats. So I'm trying this hat on, and I'm saying to Kurt, I really like this hat. I think I'm going to get it. What's the price? He says 300 Swiss francs. Better than 500, but it's still 300. And he says to me, as soon as you're from Manchester and you seem to love country, 250. And he sold me on it, okay? He really did. I was like, yep, okay, I'm happy with 250. It's still cheaper than what it was in Nashville. And I look good in this hat. So he starts like, you know, going to the till, starts charging me and all this and that. And he says, oh, you on Instagram? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, you can follow us. And, you know, I'd follow you back and we can chat and stuff. I said, well, you know what? I've been doing a YouTube vlog actually whilst I'm traveling around Europe. And I want to shout you and your shop out on my vlog because you've been so nice. Because we've been talking for like 30 minutes at this point. And he says, if you do that, the hat, $225. He knocked almost a third of the price off for me just from talking to him and being nice and being from Manchester. Now, I was going to end the video obviously with the reveal of the hat. I'm not doing it this time. I'm not doing that because I'm not going to have a wholesome moment like this again on this trip, because tomorrow I'm going to be back in the UK.
And it's made me feel so good having this little chat with Kurt and buying my hat. I've not taken it off since I bought it. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna end the video like this with another really nice story. Thank you, Western Art Outfitters. If you're ever in Switzerland and you're feeling a bit country, please check them out. And I think there's no better way to end this series than as the cowboys would say. It's time for me to hit the old dusty trail. So I will see you guys on our next adventure.